Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 2. We're near the end. We're in the EarthGov section, which honestly the EarthGov section for the most part seems to be completely built around making a marker. We've seen a laser that was constructing a smaller marker, although I'm saying smaller, I'm not sure if that's the case. It's kind of interesting that they'd use the phrase police, because that has not been spoken out loud as far as I recall. I would have thought that they would have just been called EarthGov security. We may walk through this door, we may walk through another door, but yeah, I'm suspecting, and this is kind of my thought, is that we're going to see a giant marker. Something a lot bigger, something that would explain a lot why the necromorphs are happening all over the entire moon of Titan instead of maybe just in a smaller area. And we go straight up. Really shouldn't use that gun. Let's switch over to this. Yeah, we are just in the red with necromorphs everywhere. We have guns on us, certainly. Like we can shoot the marker, but I don't think it's gonna be enough there that would kill it completely. Let's see, is anything getting closer? We've been introduced to these new necromorphs that are the EarthGov employees. And I'm pumping, and I'm not playing particularly well either. Took a bit of a break before this section. It's still the same day, but I decided to relax a little bit. Space this out. Always a very weird experience, I suppose, for me compared to most people when playing games, because I'm trying to play those experiences up. Like, trying to play games as fast as possible, whereas most people would not be in that same spot. I was hoping that I could get the necromorphs to decide to be in the same place at the same time with the explosives. These guys are moving fast. These guys are doing me no favors. I think I just picked up a health pack, and apparently I didn't. So that's what you look like when you get acided. Okay. So that. See, I'm trying to see if I can get the baby to play a role in the demise of more of these necromorphs. Clearly, though, we're not in a great position to be doing anything. We've got another character just flopping around here. Am I safe? Barely have any health. Does anybody else want a piece of me? Like, honestly, I don't think I can do anything as far as opening these elements. I am just not in a good position with these bullets. And maybe I will end up down there, or maybe I've already been down there. It's kind of hard to tell. It's these guys. Let's see, I see a frozen section down there, so I think we're going down the elevator. After all that struggle, that may just be the beginning. This might be a three-tiered battle. Or maybe they'll give us some different rooms so that we can deal with things a little bit differently. I guess I wasn't really expecting two of them to fall down and attack. How am I on bullets? Again, I have given up on trying to like get weapons upgrades that would give me some more firepower. And the only thing I can kind of hope is that remember, I'm playing on normal. I have the advanced suit on. If this sets me back further, oh man, this is getting crazy. Like, you kind of start to see why there's a reason that there are like alright, the babies are coming towards me. What if we were to just run? Like, we're so low on bullets at this point. You know, you get anywhere near those kids, they start attacking you. Yeah, you're not getting through this place without fighting the people. But I'm not sure that there's an adaptive difficulty setting in this either. So yeah, I don't know what you do other than try to stasis as many of these people as possible. Hope that you don't run out of bullets. And honestly, at what point could I have avoided some of this fighting? Like, you kind of have to clear these 3 waves of characters off the ground before you're even ready to move to the next section. Those seem new. So am I now bringing some of the enemies from previous section in line? There we go. Blue fire. I'm totally out of fuel. And I guess if I was wise, what I'd do is I'd go back and just save the game. Can we make it through this section without having to fight anybody? Like, is this really just a matter of make a mad dash? And see, if my health is low enough here, I'm just gonna die. Just because that guy jumped there. So there's entire points in this game where you are going to unfairly die. Oh, the door's open for them? Great. You really are just going to unfairly die. Just because the system is not balanced. Let's see. Should have tested for telekinesis on that. we're lower.
Kenner Phelps, research log 43549. I blacked out early last night and woke up this morning staring at a tiny, fully formed version of the marker in one of the crystal layer printing baths. I had entered the entire heuristic sequencing algorithm. I can still hear it in my mind, like a song now. I know the dementia suppressors are working, but this is something entirely different.
So yeah, you get to this point, and now you've got a boss fight on your hand, or as much of a boss fight as one could have expected. Which that was not too bad of a boss fight. But again, like in the sequence before where you just needed to find a door to unlock this, I think if I just wait here for a minute or two, more necromorphs are just gonna spawn and reduce my bullets. So forward we go, and for all my complaining of save spots, I feel like I could really use a save spot right about now. How are we on health? We have like one health thing. We might as well just use it now. Although that was probably maybe a little overkill. So people are building markers, according to that audio log, all over the place. So it's not even so much a case of there is one central marker. I can't even hit those guys. I bet they were inaccessible. Let's see. So you can see they are just pouring in from that venture point, entry point, to the central location. Which doesn't make a lot of sense if the idea of the marker is to make necromorphs. Do necromorphs, when they get close to the marker, move it? Do they build more markers? Do they strengthen it in some way? What is there some secondary goal? Because the necromorphs just getting close to the marker stops them from killing other people, which seems like a not thought through process. Of course, there's really no guarantee that any of this is a thought through process.
Research log 43553.
Yeah, you read the text log too.
Of some alien influence. I no longer believe we're in control of this project, or ever were. I believe even our rationalizations for this whole thing are an illusion, planted by the forces behind the original marker, the black one. We don't know how to make this thing. It is making us make it, and it's trying to get out desperately. I'm under security watch after taking a sledgehammer to the tiny marker I built last week. We need to destroy everything we've built here, and destroy every record, every shred of research. They were right the first time on Aegis 7. This is beyond our ability to know or control. I have to go. My supervisor is whispering to the security guard.
From Overseer. Tideman, disappointed in the evacuation decision. Consequences will be dire. That is all. So there is a secret Overseer that is controlling Tideman. I'm not sure that ever played any role in anything. Maybe in the third game they hint at that some more. Like, it's kind of hard to believe that there's yet another cult or secret organization. The audio log was implying pretty heavily that the general desire to build the markers may have been an illusion from the beginning, and maybe their thoughts that they were stopping some sort of signal was wrong. There's two ways the story goes, I suppose. You either decide that that the marker was sending the signal and driving people crazy, the dementia signal as they call it, or the signal is coming from Isaac and other people who were near the marker. To get back to my previous thought, you kind of have to assume that there is some form of intelligence behind the development of the markers, because if you don't make that assumption, then where did it come from? Like, in all seriousness, it stops making really any sense. I'm just gonna buy a bunch of this. 200 shots for the pulse rifle, and we'll buy some shots for my regular gun, and maybe we can see. If I do this, I can only get one. If I do this, I can only get one, so I might as well just do that. And then buy some flame fuel too. Oh wait, those were rivet bolts. I was meant to buy flame fuel. I'll move that over there. I'm sitting on a lot of these. I could sell one of them, but I don't think I'm going to choose to. And then we go back to the advanced suit, which I guess we could look and see if any of the DLC actually gives a higher armor rating than the 20% that the advanced suit gives you. It's ridiculous, certainly, that in this last portion of the game you have to switch between the two suits just to get a discount at the shop. Maybe what you should have done instead is just had the discount given after the first time you beat the game. Let's see. Do 10% armor, 15% armor, 15%, 15, 15, 15, 15. It seems like all the DLCs were locked at 15% armor, which would have certainly been quite the improvement over over what you would have had for the vast majority of the game. We have 10 nodes, and on the flamethrower, capacity is already at the highest, so that's useless. And capacity is already at the highest on this. So, do we go with hit points or stasis at this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give me 25 more hit points, which doesn't really matter. And then it would be 6, 7, 8, 9. It would take me all my nodes to increase my health to the maximum. Or 1, 2, 3, and then let's see, 4. Let's do this. Let's see. I want duration up before anything. And let's see. I have 2 more things that I don't know, maybe we'll... I don't think we'd ever use the alternate fire on this gun. So let's see if we can increase the reload speed. And increase the duration of the ult fire. I don't even know what the ult fire is on this gun. Let's increase the damage of the ult fire first. And then increasing the width. Would have, I guess, been a slightly interesting thing to do on the line gun. Not that I'm sure you really need it. Not sure you needed any of that, and that we're getting a little dangerously close to a feeling of spending more time playing menu hero and just shopping instead of playing the game. And notice that they gave you everything you could have possibly wanted there in that area, so that implies to me, if not the final battle, we are getting closer and closer to it. Guess I'm just gonna overwrite this 13. It would be a great point to go through an elevator, the walls come down, and you see a giant marker that's as big as a spaceship. And maybe a giant marker would turn all of the solar system, including Earth, into a necromorph paradise. Just like a glitch there in the door. Now, how much of, as we see, this is probably the marker here, how much of the marker, knowing that the marker was bigger, is because it's slightly hinted at by the game, or how much of it is because I've played this game before, I can't really tell you.
I built that.
That is much bigger than the one we saw before. Maybe the necromorphs.
What are they doing?
They're all coming to the marker. Convergence is at hand.
I knew you were trouble from the start, but they told me you were necessary. That your mind
I can't move the camera right now.
I spent years sifting through your demented brain. This is not the way it was supposed to happen.
Well, how was it supposed to happen,
We
Timon?
had it under control. Clarke, this is not our fault. We were so close to understanding it. Just hold those bodies you let in here. It's triggering a convergence event. But we never expected this many bodies.
So, genetic material bodies
How's it doing?
What are we
seem
supposed
to...
do? Isaac, you have to make us whole.
She just touched us. So yeah, all those bodies are energizing everything. The joke here would be if there's actually not a fight sequence. I remember this. This is probably one of the best sequences in any game. It's very memorable. And this might just be the end of the game, like no boss fight or anything. The world is about to end, and we've got to get into the MRI chamber. How do we get into the MRI chamber? This is offline. It says get in there. It says activate.
Machine, just like Straw said. I remember this. The machine activates the parts of our brain where the marker codes are stored. Now, how does that threaten the marker? What are they afraid of?
Me. Us. Working together.
Step 4.
Yes. Are you ready?
This is gonna hurt, isn't it?
Yes. Step inside.
So once again he takes off his helmet and he's going inside the...
Crawl inside. Step 2. The screws so tight. All around. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in your eye.
So I have to stick it in my eye, and I have to hold A and get it just right, or it's going to, in a very brutal way, stab you in the eye. And I probably will screw this up. I kind of feel like the game should have this happen wrong the first time, just for the fun of it. Like, you could go online and see the wrong way if I don't do it right. But if you just kind of thread the needle, you can do it the right way. Honestly, that's probably the most horrific part of this whole game. And if it weren't for this scene and just the general atmosphere and idea, this wouldn't even classify as a spooky enough game to justify being played during Halloween month.
Where are you?
Follow the light, Isaac. I'll be waiting for you at the marker.
But what do I do?
Chapter 14. Interesting. Well, if they're gonna say that there's a chapter 14, then I guess you wouldn't end the game that quickly, would you? And this is not even human anymore, more insect-like. And this guy is not staying dead. He's not dying. I don't think there's a way to kill this guy. Well, now is the time, unfortunately, to end this recording. We'll go one more episode. Almost certainly there's 30 more minutes. I assume that this is the enemy that we dealt with in the first game that just would not die. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.